Hello and welcome. This is Sarah Newberry from the Woven Podcast, Soft Edges, Deep Roots. And I have my friend Brianne here. And Brianne and I met through some trainings that I did. And she's a student of mine. And she's also a friend and a colleague. And I just love our conversations that we have via Marco Polo. If you don't have that app, you got to have that app, right?
Yeah.
I do anyway. It's like my lifeline. But so we have some really fascinating conversations, and so I invited her to come be on the podcast so that we could bring some of those conversations to life. So Brian, tell me and whoever else is listening a little bit about you.
Well, thank you for having me. I have been a massage therapist for 23 years. Um, I have a 17-year-old daughter who did an international exchange year last year in Sweden, and now she is finally back. And um, yeah, my practice is located inside my brother-in-law's chiropractic clinic. We've been together in business together, both of our entire careers. And yeah, what else do you want to know?
Well, you brought up some really interesting, unique things that I love that I think, well, two things specifically. One, being in business with family. I think that's a whole interesting thing. And then also, the shelf life of a massage therapist is about 6 years. So the fact that you've been doing massage for so long, I'm sure a lot of people would want to know, like, what are your secrets and what are your, your thoughts on that. But, and we can go into that if you want to. But I just think that in this day and age, being dedicated to any one thing for that long is really impressive.
That's so true. We're definitely in a society of like the minute we're not happy, we switch to something else.
Yeah.
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 I I'm I've heard that statistic before, but I'm still shocked by it. Um, the longevity, the shelf life of a massage therapist, because I actually, this is gonna sound crazy. I have this goal, and why I don't know, it doesn't get me any award by any means, but I have this goal of being a massage therapist for 50 years. I started straight out of high school. And so, like I'm 42. So another 27 years and I'll have hit my, and that seems insane. That seems crazy when I think about it, because I'm like, I've been in business for 23 years and it feels like a very long time. And to think that I'm not quite to even my halfway point of where I want to be. But again, it gets me no award for for hitting 50 years. I have no idea. That has just always been that's always been in my mind.
I love that, and you've never told me that before, and when you make it to 50 years, I will give you an award.
Oh, yay.
Well,
Thanks.
I will buy you a custom-made trophy that says 50 on it.
I will put it right on my fireplace. Thank
That's
you.
right. Serve that, like that's really amazing.
I think there's a lot of people that think they like the idea of being a massage therapist. Um, but I think then there's those of us who truly like what we do. And don't
Well,
get me wrong, there's long days,
yeah.
but those long days keep me coming back for more long days.
Right. I also think so that's an interesting way of phrasing it, like they like the idea of being a massage therapist. What do you think that's about? Like I'm kind of curious, like what do people even think the life of a massage therapist is?
That's a really good question.
Because
I think, go ahead.
I was just gonna say because I actually got into massage therapy in my mind. I got into massage therapy as like a stepping stone into something else. Like I'm going to do this part-time while I go to school. I was in college. I wanted to be a child psychology researcher. So I wanted to be in the lab working with like understanding children's brains. And I was on the path. That's what I went to college for. And I took a year off because I just wanted to kind of reset myself. My dad got really sick and I moved home to be with him and take care of him. He needed some help. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go to school for massage. It's like a year program. I'll just like bust it out while I'm taking care of him. I'll do that while I and then go back to school. And then I just never went back to school.
And
I just stayed doing massage.
yeah, you realized that you were a badass at it and you needed to just stay in that career.
Right. Actually, it's funny because someone I went to school with just sent me a message yesterday and was like, I knew this would be your calling. And I was like, well, I'm glad someone knew because I had no idea.
Could have told me.
But I didn't go into it thinking like, oh, this is what the day in the life of a massage therapist is like, really, you know? So,
That's actually really funny because I don't remember thinking back like what is my life going to be like as a massage therapist. But I always thought it was funny that when I did decide to pursue this, my sister actually said, "I'm not surprised because you're obsessed with lotions." And now as a massage therapist, like that's not my obsession. Like I find what works and I stick with it and you know, but that was just really funny that that was one thing that stood out that and you know when I went to school, I remember the like one of the very first days of school when we were talking about why we were there and then like I think it was maybe the second or third day of school we had to give a massage. We had no training and we had to give a massage for an hour. And so many people in class were like, "Oh, this is everybody tells me I just give the best shoulder rubs." And that was why they pursued a career in massage. I was not one of those people. I never came up behind somebody and started rubbing their shoulders. I never, like, I didn't gravitate towards that. I guess I gravitated towards, like, once I started to look into massage, I gravitated towards what we actually do as massage therapists and like down to the nitty gritty rather than just, oh, I like to give my Aunt Susie a shoulder rub every now and then. And she tells me I'm just so good, I should go to massage school. Maybe that's another reason that these people don't have the longevity is because, yeah, I mean, sure, somebody can I mean, my boyfriend can be good at rubbing my shoulders. He would suck as a massage therapist. Like there's just a very big difference there. But I remember that day when we gave our massages, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. That's why I'm here. Like
right.
I legit have never massaged anyone, like even just for fun. Like that was just not me.
Yeah, I used to say like, I bet my prior to massage school boyfriends would be like, wait, what? She's going to massage? Because I was never the person that was like, I mean, I've always been a really touchy, cuddly person, like I like to sit next to you and touch you. I mean, and now that I understand like nervous system and Ruffini nerves reaching out to other nervous systems, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But it's like that was never a big part of who I was either. You know, I also think that there's because you were talking about like education, and I think that trends in education have a lot to do with the longevity. There was a time when I forget all the lingo, so I'm not even going to try to say it, but there was a time whenever it was easier to get federal funding and money to go to massage school, which made getting a loan or even a grant to go to a one-year school to get paid more than minimum wage, that makes sense, right? Like easy kind of like step career, and you could go to like a chain place and make more than you could somewhere minimum wage, right? So I saw that that was like right whenever I got out of school that was happening. I went to a chain and that was like the attitude. There was like a general consensus of massage therapists, and the attitude was like, well, I'm here to make more than minimum wage, so like let's get it in, get it out. Like
Yeah.
that's going to affect your longevity, right? Because you don't really care that much.
Yep.
but and maybe they learn to care. I don't know. Who knows all the stories, but I think that longevity, I mean, this is a constant theme that I bring up on this podcast all the time whenever we talk about massage in the industry. The core education piece of this is so defunct and so like it's not consistent across the board and it's not good. Like a lot of places are not giving good core education, like business. Like
Yeah.
business skills are not there. So if you don't have business skills or you don't know how to go get business skills, your longevity is not going to be there either. I mean, and that's just one piece. Like that's not even the physicality of it, the like energy exchange, like the brain exhaustion after a long day, like all those things kind of feed into. And I think it's like the personality of the person. I have a bit of tenacity to me, so I'm like, shit, if this isn't working, I got to go figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you don't have that sort of grit, yeah, I don't know, your longevity might not be there either. Like
Yeah.
you can learn all the body mechanics and all the CEs and do all the things, but if you don't have a bit of like scrappiness of like, how do I make this work? How do I put all these pieces together? Like it's not gonna work because most, not all, but most core education are not preparing their students for everything they need.
Yeah. One thing that brings to mind is the difference between being a good massage therapist, and this is any industry, but being a good massage therapist and being a business owner. Like I think there's some people who end up getting into um that roadblock of maybe they need to be an employee somewhere. It was told to me, and I don't remember if this was in college or shortly after college. Someone said, um, businesses don't fail because the person doesn't know what they're doing. They fail because they don't know how to be a business owner. And that is so true. Like there are some people, and that is what makes this world go round. There are some people who are business owners and there are some people employees. And thank goodness we have both kinds of those people, because otherwise we'd have too many chiefs and not enough Indians.
But and there's also like this idea that um there's also this idea that like the core education schools are for profit too, right? So they also have to meet certain quotas and things like that. And so they start to, and I saw this happening at the school I worked at for a little while, is like they would say whatever it would take to get butts and seats, right? Because that's a whole other thing where it's like, oh, come to this great program where you have little to no overhead, which is wrong. And you can make $60 an hour, also wrong. So, it's like, oh, that sounds good. And then they get in there, and then there's no understanding of like, yeah, how to be a good business person
Yeah.
and also how to be good at your craft. It's like you have to balance both those things.
Yeah. Do you think there's a lot of people that get into this business because of the money, because they instantly think they see what massage therapists are charging and they instantly just see dollar signs? Because I mean, why would we go work somewhere, at minimum wage when we can have that? But there's just so many. You and I have these conversations all the time. I think that's what's always funny. Whenever I have like a thought, or you have a thought, and we marco each other, I know it's going to turn into like a series of 5 or 6 Marcos back and forth. And often they're going to be 10 minutes long back and forth because we keep talking, we keep adding to it. And this is one of those conversations that you and I keep going back to, is pricing. And so I don't know, is that something
Well, I
enticing?
think if you were a smart person, you would go and talk to a massage therapist right before you sign up for school and ask that question. If that's what you're motivated by, right? you would think somebody'd be like, hey, I should probably talk to somebody about this. If
Yeah.
somebody came and talked to me about that, the first thing I would say is, if you're doing this for the money, get out now.
Yep.
And now, and it's weird because I see all these like, I don't know, do I call them influencers? They're like continuing education provider hustler people. Okay. I'm just gonna be real here. And or business coach hustlers, okay? And okay, I say this as a continuing education provider. I say this as a business coach, okay? And I say this because there's a bunch of people touting this information like you can make six figures doing massage. And I want to be like, how? Where? Um, I mean, maybe I'm sure it's possible, okay? But you can't sit there and say that it's possible for everyone because one, like the amount of difference, the differentiality with it from massage therapist to massage therapist, and I see this with my students all the time, like some people are into CrossFit or some people are into the energy woo stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
across the board. So like everyone has a different vibe to put to it. So they're not gonna be um able to make, not everyone's gonna be able to make six figures. And of course not, but like the majority of people are not going to be able to make six figures.
Yeah.
I don't know, like if someone's saying that, I've looked at all the formulas, I've read the books. I just want to be really real. Like yeah,
Yeah.
we could try it. We could probably try to get you to that. How much like energy do you want to put towards this? Like how much of your like what do I want to say? I don't want to say like selling your soul, but like how much are you willing to be not true to yourself because you're going to have to kind of bend some things. I'm not saying everything, like I'm not saying that's the way it is for everybody, but I just think that that kind of blanket advice is really problematic.
Yeah. Absolutely. And for one person, they may only be able to see two people a day, and somebody else might be able to see five, depending on what they're doing with them, depending on their sensitivity. I feel like some of us are just so much more sensitive than others that that's another reason why, like, a long day for me could still, on some days, could still be ending at 2 o'clock,
Right.
because there's just it, and that varies from not only the work that we're doing and that sensitivity between us and our patient, but also um who we're seeing. I mean, that's a huge thing, is the outside energy that walks in our door that we have no control over. We have no control over their personality. We have no control over how their day has gone. We have no idea, no control over like the thoughts that are going through their head that just transfer to us.
Yep.
And some people don't have that transfer. Some people are just kind of cut off from that, I think.
Yeah. Early on, I used to say like I could see four people. It didn't matter if I were doing hours or 2 hours. It was like the human that was walking in. I could only be with four humans in that day. And I mean, I still feel that way and now that's why I only really offer longer sessions because it's it's just better for how I apply what I do.
Yeah.
And as an instructor, as a CE provider, I have really found that too, that a lot of students come in class and they want me to tell them what to do. Talk about like what kind of personality thrives in this. I can only tell you what I've done. I can't tell you what to do. I can help you figure out what you want to do, right? But I can't tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I notice too a lot of times whenever students come in, I'm always like, okay, yeah, the people who are like just wanting me to tell them what to do, it's like, ooh, how do we get them thinking for themselves?
Emotions. I notice after I come back from a training that I feel this way when I go for a training, that other people, other therapists in the room, I love watching and learning from everybody, but it's so interesting how different my work is when I'm in a room of a few other massage therapists as we're all doing this, and the surroundings are different, because then I come here to my office and I'm like in my zone. I'm just me and my work. And it's so interesting how different it feels to me in class versus in my own setting.
Mhm.
And yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why, especially, I mean, we both specialize in barefoot massage. That's like the main tool of our trade, if you will. And I feel like, especially with barefoot massage, but this goes for every massage. I know they're always like, you should be receiving massage. Yes, absolutely. But I also think we should be in observation, where you like go and actually, like, whenever I used to have a staff, I would have them come in and we would just do like a trade, but it would be like two people were trading and everyone else was watching because and that's so valuable.
yeah,
Didn't see that, but like it's so valuable because it's like by osmosis, it's by like um inspiration. Like, why did you choose that stroke? Why did you, move your hips in that way? Why'd you move your foot that way? And it's why I'm always encouraging all my students to come back to take the class again because it's not that you didn't get the information. You probably did. It's in there. But
yeah.
like and I see this as like the fixated person and the students moving in and out, right? It's like every class is so wildly different because of the students who collect there that like when you come to one class, I can teach that same class like the next month and it's totally different
Yeah.
because people are different.
Yep.
And I wish more people could understand that where it's like just come to class because it's going to be great.
It's going to be great because of who's in it and the things that we have no plans of happening.
Yeah, and it's like, there are some states that don't even have a requirement for continuing education, which is like mind-boggling to me. But it's like, and I love whenever I get people from those states because those are the people who are hungry for the information. They're like, I'm here regardless. And
Yeah.
that's the kind like that's that tenacity I'm talking about. It's like I'm here because I want to learn, not because I have to be here to check this box, right? It's like I recognize those therapists right away and I'm like, you come over here.
That's interesting. I didn't realize that there were states that so their state. Do we have any states left that aren't licensed even, or is everybody under
Yes.
licensure?
Yes. Actually, I just had one of my students from Kansas recently come over. They have no licensing. They have no, even in the city municipality that she's in, there's no licensing. So she comes because she wants to learn it.
Ah,
Indiana has waffled back and forth between having licensing and not having a license. I'm in Missouri, I'm in the Midwest, so like those are the two states that are closest to me. I think Oklahoma too.
wow. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Idea.
And also like I don't spend a lot of time keeping up with that stuff. So I say that and it could be different today because
Right.
I just I don't want to say I don't care enough, but it is like I don't care enough to like keep up with the legislation because it changes without anyone knowing about it unless you're living in that state. And maybe I should be paying attention because I'm a CE provider, but I'm like, again, you're gonna come if you're gonna come.
Yeah. Yeah. You're providing regardless of whether they're collecting, whether they need CEs or not.
Right, right. Which is a whole other like 4 hour at least conversation about how terrible the whole thing is. I
I
actually
had somebody last week say, how many continuing education hours do you need? And this is stuff that I have always known. And it's, like I think about it, but I don't think about it. It's so in the back of my mind because I don't think about how many hours I'm getting. I think about the stuff that I actually want to learn.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Me too. Until you have to get that, you know, completed or whatever. But I also, there's always been this conversation, if you will, about continuing education, and like there are providers who don't offer CEs through the National Certification Board. And I used to be like, why wouldn't you do that? Like, why wouldn't you go get your classes certified? More people would take the class because again, there's a lot of people who just like check the box, right? But then
Yeah.
I got to thinking about it from a different perspective where I was like, oh, actually, I see why, because you're looking for people who actually care about what you're teaching and who
Yeah.
are willing to take your class regardless of whether or not they get CEs.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It really is.
Yeah. So that's a lot about continuing education, but I go in and out of caring too much about it because it gets really enraging to me because I'm just like, there's no action that is taken a lot of times, There's a whole lot of like bureaucracy and red tape, and like to change anything takes so long.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah.
going back to the longevity, I think that there are so many schools that are doing such a disservice to the massage therapist, going back to the core education.
Mhm.
Um, and so then it's fascinating because then when you have somebody in a continuing education, and it's like almost like they don't have the foundation. They don't have a good solid foundation. It's amazing to me how many people go, I'm going to open a massage school. What the hell do you know about opening a massage school? Being a massage therapist and owning a massage school are different. And I feel like there are, I mean, obviously, I would hope that every school is owned by a massage therapist. Mine is my the school that I went to. Um, she was actually my business instructor. She wasn't the owner of the school when I went to school, but she's the current owner, and the knowledge that you have as a massage therapist is very key, obviously, for passing that on to other people. But that doesn't mean, I mean, I could not run a massage school.
I
I
bet you could actually.
I mean, okay, where there's a will, there's a way. Like I'm kind of the same way. Like if I'm put in front of a project, by golly, I'm gonna get it done, right? But
I mean,
I want to own a massage school. No.
right.
Do I think in my mind that like I could do that without like really having to sit down? No. I think there's too many people who are just like, let's open a school.
Yeah.
Why don't you work on being a good therapist yourself to start?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really judgy. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. There's a lot of people who have asked me to open a school, and I'm like, I got 4 kids. And I have a school, but it's continuing education. And the world of core education is very, very different. It's a
Yeah.
lot more connected to the state that you're into. And uh,
Yeah. It's true education.
yeah,
I don't mean that like everything else is not true, but you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's a school.
Like
It's
you're talking to the Department of Education.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to work for a school if they paid well, which they don't. I've been offered jobs at probably most of the schools in my area, and I always have to turn them down because I can make more money doing massage.
Yeah.
It's like, why don't we value, I mean, and it's one thing like I get it, you're doing the craft, so you should be getting paid more. That's like understandable. I'm not saying you should be paying me $130 an hour to teach these students, but I do think you should pay more than 15
Hmm.
or 25.
Especially considering what tuition is for massage school.
Exactly. So, okay, let's talk about that for a second because do you know what the going rate of massage school is right now where in your area?
I don't actually.
I don't either, but when I worked at the school back in 2010-ish, so a long time ago. Um it was around 12,500, so $12,500. I
Okay.
would hope that it would be more than that now,
Yeah.
but I have no idea. But we've talked a lot about pricing, and that was the same kind of conversation we were having back then about pricing massage education. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, so I'm sure that they have those similar conversations about how to set up their pricing for massage school.
Yeah.
But, pricing for, you want to talk about pricing?
Sure. Let's do it. We want to go down that rabbit hole?
Yeah, well, the other thing that I think I would love to hear about from you too is like your wait list stuff.
Oh, sure.
Because I think that that goes really hand in hand with like longevity too, um because say hi. Because
Hi.
your wait list is a part of like what keeps things moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel very blessed with the business that I have because um, why do I feel like I'm going to cry? I always cry, Sarah.
It's okay to be a crier.
Yep, that's me.
Yeah. I'm trying to embrace my crying side, like I'm trying to cry more.
Trying to open the floodgates a little bit more often.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can get through this.
Yeah. It's okay. Take your time. Hey, can you go find Daddy?
Once I start crying, that's the problem, is then I can't stop.
She's breathing
So,
for
oh,
you.
thank you. Thank you. So I feel very blessed the with the business that I have. When, oh my gosh, Sarah, I can't get my words out. When I started, I was working at my brother-in-law's chiropractic clinic with his dad. His dad, we went into business with his dad at the very start, and I I don't know why I'm so emotional about this, but I was very blessed to, while the construction was being done on our building to make room for me and my brother-in-law, I was able to work in the evenings. So I worked for the chiropractic clinic all day long. And then in the evenings, I would move his table to the side and I would move mine in. And that helped me because instantly, because of the exposure of people knowing who I was, I instantly had clients. I instantly had people that just trusted me and wanted to go down this route with me. And I still have some of those people today that are my clients. And when my full-time office was opened, once construction was done, I had enough contact with everyone around that knew that I was doing massage, and between the chiropractic clinic and just my personal life. I live in a fairly small town, so our town is like not roughly 10,000 people. And so it was pretty well known. Our office was pretty well known in town, and so people knew that I was going to be doing massage. And so I was able to have a full schedule from the go. And not everybody is blessed with that.
Mhm.
And so I feel very thankful for
But
um
I also see that you were like putting in the effort in the beginning, right? Like you were working there, they saw your face, you were connecting with people. So while a lot of people don't have that like immediate full book of business, you were building that trust and you were creating that, from the beginning. And there's not very many massage therapists in your area, right?
um actually at one time I think our count I want to say we were up to like 13. So
Oh.
there's quite a few. Like now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's probably about 8 or 9 of us in town. And that's risen again because for a while we were kind of down. We had some people that moved away. We had some people that just quit practicing. And now we've had a couple of new ones that have moved to town. But I would say we've teetered between like 4 of us and 13. Um, and I think, okay, now I'm finally not crying. I think that's the thing with when we talk about the wait list, I made sure that when um I had a client, I was always saying to them, "Do you want to reschedule now or do you want to give me a call?" And I feel like this is like talking to toddlers. When we kind of learn that helping our children not throw a fit is a lot easier instead of like, go put your shoes on. It's a lot easier if we say, do you want to put your shoes on first or do you want to do this first and have them choose?
Mhm.
Our clients are the same way. If
Mhm.
you give them an option, they're going to take it. And that is, I had everyone rescheduling from the get go.
Mhm.
And I think that's a lot. I think that's a missing component that some massage therapists are they're missing that because I think there's too many massage therapists that are relying on their online booking and they're relying on just people come in, people leave. And they can schedule at their own leisure and we don't really talk to them about rescheduling. We don't really prompt that. I don't do online scheduling. And I have kind of mixed feelings on this because I've been trying to find a software that will allow me to do what I need to be done about my wait list. And I'll explain that. But so far, I haven't found that software. So if anybody's listening and you hear this, let me know. Because I've tried out several just like trial things and it's not what I need because I control my schedule and I don't want to have my schedule. I'm personally being small town like this and having my schedule full. I don't need to have my entire schedule out there online for people to schedule. And so right now, I think I just counted up the other day. Right now I have like 34 people on my wait list. And that's a combination of people that are current clients and that is also a combination of people who are wanting to become clients. And so that list gets utilized when I have somebody move away. Obviously, that gives me a new recurring spot that is open for somebody. And it's usually snagged up pretty quick because they know that I don't often have that. And in the beginning of my career, there were a lot of times where I would have somebody that would call and I would say, I don't have an opening for 9 months. And they would say, that's fine, put me on your schedule. And so I would get them on my schedule. But then the problem that I began having is that's fine that they wait until then to see me, but then they want a recurring spot. And so then it got to the point where I'm like, I have to shut this down. I have to not accept any new patients because even though they are waiting the 9 months before there's an opening, I don't have a recurring spot. And then, of course, I would find, I would do my best to find, and I just found that my schedule was getting too congested and out of control. That's when I kind of like cut off my new patients. Um, but with my wait list, I would love to find a software that allows me to have that one appointment available that comes open. Say I have a cancellation next week, that I have that one appointment that they could go online and book. But I want to be able to like send out a text to my waitlist people, and whoever then goes online and grabs it first can grab it. But the communication between like how I'm wanting to contact them and how they're gonna then schedule it, for some reason the software thing has not been, it's not been a perfect fit yet. So I might just be figuring out someone that can make me my own software. Oh, you're on mute.
Right. I feel like that is a software thing that should be easy enough to figure out.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is right off the bat, but I feel like between text, there's like so much text, SMS kind of stuff that should be an easy thing to do. You
That's
know,
what I think too.
the things that I think is really cool about what you've created is that recurring appointment. And we've talked about this before, and you've given me a lot of inspiration like to create that. It's harder for me because of my children's schedule to create recurring appointments right now, but I definitely see how that could be something that could create that anchor of like, um this is your spot and I know what's going on in my life. You know what I mean? And I also want to say that you said I have 34 people on my wait list or something like that. And I think one thing that I do that I think is really important is, well, for one, I have like a really intense relationship with my clients. Like, I don't mean intense like we're right here. But I mean, like, I think about my pool of clients regularly. So, like, I have about 54 clients that I see every month or every other month. Like, they're the clients that are like currently in my practice right now. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
my newsletter list is like 2,000 people, but I have like 54 clients that I like am managing right now.
Yeah.
And I think that when you know that number, one, that could be daunting a little bit, like, um, 54 people to kind of know all of their stories of what's happening, like, that's a lot, but it's also, that's my, like, kind of sweet spot, right? Like, I don't want it really any more than that, but I also don't like, some clients don't require all of that management either, like, they're just there to kinda chill out and relax or whatever, um, but I think that knowing how many people you're kind of managing, and then whenever one falls off, being able to be like, okay, who's replacing that person? Kind of like what you're talking about, like the wait list. Is there a wait list available? I think that and maybe you can look at it from like who's been in the last 3 months or the last 6 months or the last 3 years, maybe that's how you decide who's in that pool of people that you're managing. What I love is that whenever my client tells me, they're going to disappear for whatever reason, we're moving, can't afford it. Like I want to create a relationship so so tight with my person that like I had a client a couple weeks ago say he was coming like every month and he's like, "You know what? I actually have to come every 3 months because we're trying to pay off this big thing." I was like, "Perfect, gotcha. I understand." But what I loved about it was that we had such a relationship that he could tell me what was going on in his life so that I could provide what he needed. Do you know? And
Yeah.
it's like that is the kind of therapist that I am. I want to know what's going on in all of your life, not just like the hour that you're there, hour and a half. And at that takes some soft social skills that not everybody has.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a great way of pointing that out. I think that's another thing that like you have online scheduling, right? Everybody, yeah. And I think that is like exactly what you just said is that relationship with your people, because there's other people who do online scheduling and those people are coming in and they're leaving and they don't know anything about those people other than like what's happening with their body. And they're not seeing them on a regular basis because they're just kind of coming and going as they please. And that's a huge, yeah, that's absolutely. I mean, I think that's honestly, that's why I was crying is like, I'm, it's my family.
Yeah, I'm invested in people's well-being, And it's why I've always felt like my clients who are curious about their body are the ones who I love working with because they're not like, I'm broken, fix me. It's like, wait, I'm alive in this body and I I hope and wish to live it to its most potential, which doesn't I mean, sometimes it means like my clients are athletes who are trying to improve their performance, right? I do work with those people. But it's mostly my clients are a lot of times regular people.
Yeah.
Regular people who are like, you know what, I just want to sleep better at night, or like I want to like be a better parent and less angry, or like I want to just be involved with my own clients or whatever. It's whatever it is. And I just, that's why some of this business advice that's like niche down and like really figure out who your people are. It's like, how do I say that my people are just like regular people
Uh-huh. Yeah.
who are curious about their life and they want to talk about it? They want to talk about their life, like I maybe have a client who's like going through a hard time, a sick parent or something, and they're just like, they're upset about it. They're sad. They're worried. They're scared about whatever. And they know that they don't have to be alone when they go through that. And I'm not trying to be their therapist or like anything like that, right? But I do want them to understand that this heaviness that they're carrying is also it's showing up in the session,
Yeah.
in in like I just want to be like a loving space that's like we're going to make room for this to be here. We're not going to try to pretend like it doesn't exist.
Having that, um, what's the best word for it? Um, that diversity of being able to say like this is the work that I provide. And where some people, I'm sure this is around, I don't know any businesses like this, but I'm positive that there's probably one who says I only want to work with athletes. I only want to work with, I only want to provide a relaxation massage. I don't do deep tissue. People that have like niche that direction on what kind of work that they wanted to do and what kind of client they want. That's a game some people like to play, and I guess it's not really my game. My game is more of like, I mean, I might be the relaxation therapist for one person and they might not. Honestly, I had someone years ago who I saw like clockwork. She never missed an appointment. She would walk in my office, she'd put her money on the table, she'd head back into the room, and she'd come out, she'd grab her water, and she'd leave. The only time that we talked was when we were scheduling her year-long appointments. Other than that, she knew that I knew what she needed in there, and she didn't want to talk about it. And then I have other people who are talking from the minute you say go.
Yep, yep. I mean, I think that's what I love about this is that everybody is a little different. And I think if I had to like say a niche or something, I'm like, listen, I'm the therapist that's going to go through life with you.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is I'm the therapist that's going to go through life with you. That should be my new
Love
tagline.
that. Yeah.
Like, what does that even mean? But it's like, I have been with clients when they've died. I've been with clients when they've given birth, like literally in their room, holding them maybe hours before they died, or, holding them as they birth their baby. Like, I am the therapist who goes through life with you. And it's like that's what I want. I don't and like it's fine if you're only going to be there for 6 months or something in my practice, but like that is the kind of relationship that I'm looking to build with people, is that I'm another extension of your support system.
Yeah. I think that also adds to the longevity of our career. I think
Yeah.
that also adds to not burning us out because we love what we do and we love the people we're doing it with.
Well, and to talk about burnout, which is a whole other hour-long thing, but at least, but I have been crispy burnt before. Like, I have been burnt the fuck out, okay? And I can't even tell you what contributed to that, or like what made it happen, or like even how I got out of it. Maybe I'm still burnt out. I don't know. No, I don't think so. But um I feel like we burnout is like it creeps in so slowly. And it's like if you're not diligent about looking at that, it will creep up on you. And just know that like that's part of it. Like, yep, burnout is part of it. We're all
Yeah.
gonna get it sometimes. And
Yep.
there are times whenever I feel more burnout than others, and that's okay.
Do you feel more burnout when you have the people that are energy suckers? Does that add to the burnout feeling for you?
I think so. And I also think anytime this is like an interesting piece, right? Anytime I feel like I'm struggling, like monetarily, like if like inflation happens, the economy changes, um, you know, like when something happens in the world and people get scared and they don't come in. Like anytime I start struggling, then I start feeling like I got to do something else to get to a different place, and it's that rigidity that makes me feel burnout. And that has not always been a monetary thing. It's been like I need a new client. I've seen the same people for a lot of months, and I need like some fresh blood to like reinvigorate me. But that's also why I teach too, because teaching also re-inspires me in ways that like clients like I don't have to have a new client all the time because I have new students kind of in front of me. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yep.
And not that we all need to be continuing education providers, because again, like some people are meant to do that and some people are not. But if you can't do that, then you need to find some other ways, whether you're connecting with colleagues or like meeting up for coffee and like talking about your struggles and getting your what's hard out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like human advice, right? Like if you're going through a hard time, or you're going through not even a hard time, you're just like going through life, you need to be able to have places to kind of exercise that energy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Keep people in that circle.
yeah. So yeah, I think the wait list is a really good idea. And I think that even just putting that energy into the universe, like I'm gonna have a wait list, that's really awesome energy. I'm getting ready to do a whole bunch of updates on my website and like uh unleash some new programs and stuff like that. And one of the things I'm going to create is like a wait list for people to actually put their name on, that's on my website. That's like, hey, if you want to get an appointment with me but you can't, like here's
Yeah.
where you can put your name on the list, and I'll let you know whenever you can come in, or you know.
As some therapists, I don't think they realize how much people like the routine. They like knowing like the standing appointments, the recurring appointments. Um, there's a great therapist that I met at one of our classes together, Katie, from Wisconsin, and love her. And I have been her and I have each other on Instagram, and so I've kind of like been paying a little bit of attention because she posts all the time and on her story and stuff. And um she was just like a couple of weeks ago, she was posting about sending out her recurring um like she sends out like a kind of like a questionnaire to all of her standing appointments, and they decide what they want to do for the new year. And some people that works for them to do a year at a time. She said she has, I chatted a little bit with her about this, and she said she has some clients that are nurses and have a schedule change and stuff like that. So um some people, there was one, we had, like, I don't know, I think there were 5 or 6 therapists that worked for the what did they call it? Oh my goodness. I don't know. It's like a health clinic that was connected to the hospital, but it was like their alternative health clinic. And so it was away from the hospital. They had a massage therapist there for a while, and they opened up their book 6 months at a time. And so then you would book your 6 months, and then like in I don't know, May, then they would start to open up the end 6 months of the year. And that worked for them. And I know at least one therapist that worked that way. That's how she now is on her own, and she still opens up her books that way. And for me, like, when I have clients come in and we're talking about their next appointments and going through, so they have, I have like a year-long calendar that at the beginning of the year I'll write the whole year down for them on. It's like basically a long appointment card, so it has all of their appointments in one spot. But then obviously when they're in here, we're always double checking appointments, make sure nothing has changed around, because that's what I've always said to people is, um you have this spot, but life happens. If something comes up, and so then like sometimes I'll be flipping people, I'll be texting clients saying, hey, people that I know that are flexible, I'm like, hey, I have somebody looking to switch, would you be willing to switch with them? And most of the time, 9 times out of 10, they're like, yeah, no problem. And so then they still get seen the same week, they just both have different times. And so when I have some people that are going through appointments with me, and they want to make sure that they have that recurring appointment on the schedule, I'm like, don't worry. My Google Calendar goes out to 2040. You are currently booked in this spot until 2040. If at any time you would like to change, just let me know. And that, it's always a good chuckle, because it's like, who the hell knows what we're doing in 2040? But I know that so and so has a massage at noon on Tuesday.
I can't wait for your 50-year award to see if that is lines up with the 2040 date. I want you to go figure that out and report back, okay? Because I think that whoever's on that 2040 Tuesday at 12 o'clock, they're gonna get a surprise whenever we're like, and here's her trophy. All right, my friend. Well, it has been lovely chatting with you. I also just want to pose this out to anyone listening. If you have any questions for me or Brianne and anything that we talked about today, I'd love for you to tell us. Here, ask us. I don't know exactly when this episode will go out, but if there's anything in here that has you percolating ideas or questions, I mean, I actually think I have a new idea from our conversation, but I have to like let it process, and I'll let you know if it's real. Um,
I'll get a
um,
Marco from you.
what?
I'll get a Marco from you as
You
you're
will.
percolating on that.
You will. And if you're on Marco Polo, let us know, because I really think it's the best place for my brain. Uh, and yes, thanks for being here. Any like last thoughts or
Thanks
ideas?
for having me. Yeah, I would love to connect with anybody as well. If, that it's fun to have this networking of ideas, and just feedback of what's working and what's not working. And if it's not working, let's talk about that, because
Yeah.
I think that longevity should be longer than 6 years. And whether that boils down to the therapist making sure that this is what you truly want to do, or if it's, figuring out what works in order to make that longevity longer than 6 years, let's do it. Let's all make it to 50.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Let's make it to 50.
Join the 50 club.
Wow.
We're having some
That's a
good
whole
fun.
movement we can create for massage
Yeah,
therapists.
let's
Make
do it. Let's do it. Yeah. If
some
anybody, I'll just throw this out there. If anybody wants to connect with me, I'm on Instagram and TikTok as Barefoot and Inked. And maybe you can even I don't know if you have show notes or something, Sarah, you could even put my email address out there. Feel free
yeah,
to reach out to me. I'd love to chat.
yeah. You should go check out Brianne's TikTok because she's got some fun ones out there. She does some really cool things that have nothing to do with massage, and I think that's really awesome and important. So
Thank
go check it out. All right. Thanks, Brianne.
you. Have a good one.
You too.